Hello! Welcome to Bigfoot Real Encounters. We're glad to have you stop by. We'd also like to take this time to invite you to share your encounter. You can send your stories to the email bfrealencounters@mail.com, where we will feature your story with all of the respect that it deserves. So send your stories in bfrealencounters@mail.com. We look forward to hearing from you and your great stories soon. Hey everybody, welcome back to Bigfoot Real Encounters. The last video that we did was West Virginia's Bigfoot. It did extremely well. I got a huge response. And that's really good for this very small channel. So I thought I would revisit West Virginia and get some more stories out. And I thought I would begin with my own experience. Now this takes place back in the fall of 2019. I had recently got a settlement for disability. I'm a stroke survivor. And I took my family down to Summersville, West Virginia, where we rented a cabin for 3 or 4 nights. And Summersville is near the New River Gorge. The New River Gorge Bridge is really a sight to behold. Well, I think it's probably the longest bridge of that type in America. Anyway, while at the cabin, we noticed some odd tree structures just from the parking area where we first drove up. And one of the strange things that we encountered while my son was gathering some wood for the fireplace inside, he came across the manager of the property. There were several cabins, spaced far enough apart that nobody interfered with each other. But anyway, he came across the manager who wanted to see if we were getting settled in and what we thought of the place. And the manager told my son this: "Do you have any little kids?" My son said, "No, it's just the 4 adults." And he said, "Good." And he goes, "But anyways, kids or not, do be careful out here at night. Don't be running around. It's dangerous out here at night." Now that was a red flag for me. I thought, uh-oh, what in the world? And so I told my son to take the camera and go look around the property because I thought I saw some tree structures. And guess what? On the screen in front of you, you are seeing some of the pictures that my son took of the tree structures that were on that property of this cabin. And that's not all. Several nights in the evening, my family heard, well, let me explain how they heard it. There was a outside area off of the kitchen where it was like a patio type of deal. It had a roof over it and a screened-in area, and there was also a hot tub out there for people to use. Well, anyway, my wife and her sister were out there enjoying the night air and the sounds and such, and my son also, who was 19 at the time, and they heard voices talking in the forest, gibberish talking. And it was that odd man-type voice that folks have reported hearing, that I have heard recordings of on other people's channels. And it was the same odd man voice that I heard in a howl over in the smoke hole region back in 2015. This went on for a couple of nights. And they were talking back and forth to each other. It was really, we knew what it was. Can't prove it, nope, but we knew what it was. Because it was combined with the tree structures in the area, as well as the warning from the manager that it could be dangerous at night in that area. Now, one night, we were sitting around the table playing a card game. It was the Mad cards, you know, Mad Magazine? Well, I found this a card game based off of Mad Magazine. It's got Alfred E. Newman's picture on the cards. And it's similar to Uno with wacky twists. It's really hilarious game. It's no longer in circulation. I found it on eBay. It's a blast. But anyways, we were playing the game, and all of a sudden, we smelled a horrible stench like sewer. And I know, just within me, that one of those creatures had walked up to the window and was right outside the window, right behind my sister-in-law above her head, watching us because the odor came in. And there's no way that it was sewer backing up into the place, because it came in strong, lasted for about 5 minutes, and then it was gone. All these things combined makes me know that, yes, we had a Bigfoot experience. Yes, it was Bigfoot, a real encounter. Before we move on to the next story, I would like to take a moment here to encourage you to like, share, subscribe. This would really help the growth of this channel. If you like hearing stories and sharing of stories of Bigfoot, please like, share, and subscribe. We need to get the YouTube algorithms to work with us to make this channel grow, get it in front of more viewers, and that's the best way to do it. And also drop a comment below. Also, if you take a look in the description below, you'll find links from Amazon. I am an Amazon affiliate. I do get a very small commission, which would actually help grow this channel. Right now, what I'm using is very minuscule, and I would like to continually improve the quality of these videos. So to do that, please check out the links below. There are some great coffee mugs with Bigfoot themed, as well as Bigfoot themed t-shirts in the description below. The links take you to an Amazon website which features these products. So if you're a mind to, please check out the links, and maybe you'll find something that you like there. And now let's get on to the next story that we have coming up. All right, this next story we have is from the BFRO website, public domain story, and it's entitled, Cave Explorers Recall Bizarre Experiences While Camping in the Seneca Creek Backcountry. The year was 1994, in the fall. Month was November, on the 5th of November. Pendleton County, West Virginia. The nearest town is Seneca Rocks, 7 miles as the crow flies. Route 33/55 from Seneca Rocks to Harmon would be the nearest road. This is actually not that far from the smoke hole region where I mentioned just a little bit ago, where I had heard howls back in 2015. So I'll go ahead with the story here. They said on November 5th, 1994, I and 6 other cavers got together to do some ridge walking and camping along several miles of limestone exposed on the east side of Seneca Creek, in the Seneca Creek backcountry. This is a remote and heavily forested section of the Monongahela National Forest and lies on the western flanks of Spruce Knob, the highest point in West Virginia. We planned a through hike, so I pre-positioned my vehicle downstream at the public parking area near the intersection of White's Run and Seneca Creek. Then we drove around and upstream to the trailhead where we started out. Hiking along or off to the side of the trail, we passed the entrances of a few caves that were located on previous trips. We'd been working this area for a few months already. The area is heavily forested with second growth hardwoods. that have grown up since the virgin timber was clear-cut in the 1890 to 1912 logging era. We worked our way north toward and through a region known for a series of large, open meadows in the forest, left behind by homesteaders in the early part of the 1900s. We eventually found a number of small caves in that area, but none large enough that we could easily enter them. Most would require some digging. About halfway through these meadows, we left the trail completely as it wandered up the mountain and away from the limestone. We continued north and across the last of the meadows, then into the trees. We crossed a couple more ravines and finally, at the end of the day, found a nice, flat bench on a remote ridge to set up our camp. We were 6 or 7 miles in from the trailhead and still had 5 miles to go before reaching my SUV at White's Run. It was 4 miles or so as a crow flies to the nearest houses on the far side of a big mountain. We were about as remote as you could get in that area. That night we built a small fire and sat up about 11 p.m. talking. The night was dark, clear skies, but the moon had set and not much starlight in the thick forest. We all backpack light, so our light sources were no more than our headlamps and the firelight. The camp was dim. It was around 10:30 when I had just finished telling something of a spooky story. Everyone was a little keyed up, I guess. About 30 seconds after I finished the story, a single scream rang out from the woods behind me. It sounded to be about 200 yards or more north, across the next ravine, and on the next ridge we would head for the following morning. It was loud, but not incredibly so. It was unlike any cry I'd ever heard in the woods, and didn't sound like a bird call to me. More like a mammal, reminiscent of a woman's scream, but nothing like a cat scream. It started low and rose in scale, lasting about 3 to 4 minutes, or seconds rather, not minutes. Boy, that'd be some scream, wouldn't it? 3 or 4 minutes? Boy. Yeah, I'm reading this and I'm making my mistakes, so bear with me, folks. Let me get on here. It really caught our attention since we were all on edge from the story I told. It caused a bit of nervous laughter and discussion, and some of us decided it must have been some kind of screech owl. I've bought land in that area since then and heard screech owls all the time. They sound nothing like that scream. We never heard it again, and by 11 p.m. we were all sacked out. Now the next morning we got up and decided we had ridge walked enough. It was Sunday. We had 5 miles of rough terrain to hike before getting to the car, then a long drive home, so we never visited the area from where the sound came. Instead, we dropped down off our ridge to the trail following Seneca Creek and back to my car. I've not been back to that particular spot since and would never have thought much more about it. But the event has stuck in my mind for 14 years. When I found the BFR website this year, read reports about screams in the night, and then noted how many sightings were occurring within 10-mile radius of this area, I thought it might be worth mentioning. Certainly not a strong report, but possibly more evidence in the growing collection for that region of Pendleton County. Yeah, that's quite a story. You know, he's right. There's a tremendous amount of stories out there that are growing and growing. More and more people are telling these stories from years ago. We have the internet as a media, and websites like the BFRO, which allow you to report these things. And now there are channels like mine, like Steve Isdall's, like Scott Carpenter's, like Dixie Cryptid with Cam, that allow folks with encounters to send in their experiences and have their stories told. Because these stories need to be told. These beings exist. We need to let our young folks know that they are out there and what to do if they should come across them. Otherwise, so many people from the stories that I've heard come across and stand face to face with one of these beings, always believing that they do not exist because that's what they are told from, quote, officials, unquote. And then they're left with PTSD symptoms because they are shocked to their core because they saw something that they were told does not exist, but actually does. So we do need to get these stories out. If you have a story, don't be afraid to share them. Tell your close family members. Let them know. Okay, that's the most important. Educate them. Let them know. But also, consider sharing your stories with the rest of the world. If you email your stories to me at bfrealencounters@mail.com, I will faithfully read them verbatim to the best of my ability. You will not be ridiculed. And we can keep you anonymous if you wish. We can read your name if you wish. It is totally up to you. That is the main reason that I did start this channel, is to read stories from viewers like you so that your story can get out. I hope you enjoyed these stories as much as I enjoyed telling them. And please do visit these areas in West Virginia. The Seneca Rock area is simply beautiful. It's near the Smoke Hole region, which is a nice resort area. Very, very good trout fishing in the streams in that area, some of the best in the state. And also the Summersville area near the New River Gorge, beautiful area. Do visit them. And who knows, maybe you might have some type of Bigfoot encounter yourself. And if you do, please remember to share your stories with us. Send them in, bfrealencounters@mail.com. Remember, like this video, please. Share, subscribe. Visit the links in the description. Support this channel. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you all in the next one. Once again, another great story. Thanks for tuning in. Please share your encounter. Email us, bfrealencounters@mail.com. Your story is very important. We will treat it with the respect that it deserves. Also, be sure to smash the like button, share, and subscribe. Thanks once again. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Watch out for our next video. Maybe we'll feature yours. Have a great day.